Every night is game night after hours. Top 100 cooperative games, The Broken Meeple, The Misses. Hey everybody, welcome back to Top 100 Cooperative Games. This is the after show, so to speak. So if you went through all of our videos, and by the way, I'm Jason from Every Night is Game Night. That is Luke from The Broken Meeple.
Right up.
If you went through all those videos, I think we released, 10 total videos, something like that?
10 videos. You're all very committed people if you've stuck with us.
This is the Ugly Stepchild number 11. We are going to just very quickly run through the games that did not make either of our lists. And at the very end, I'm actually going to run through a couple of games that I played that would have made the list, but I made the list after I played them. So we're just going to get through these really fast before Luke gets destroyed by a thunderstorm over there. Which apparently I didn't know this. Great Britain is not exactly known for weathering thunderstorms, but who knew? Whatever.
We're temperate. We're not used to extreme weather or something. I bet it'll be mild by the time it hits, but it's the first time we've had any major lightning storms in a while.
All right, so I'm going to run through so these are the games that did not make my list. I'll run through them really quickly. So my number 65, wow, so it was pretty high for me. Muse is a Dixit variant, very Dixit-ish. It has a cooperative mode and a team versus team mode. Team versus team mode is better. Co-op mode still works, and I really enjoy it. If you like Dixit, I actually recommend Muse a little bit more contained and usable. My next game, and then we held hands. Notice a theme. I like my little co-ops over here. Two-player back and forth, kind of get into each other's head, abstract movement type game. I wish it was a little bit more thematic, but hey, it's a really fun one.
I want a Cthulhu version. And then we held tentacles.
There is a tentacle. Oh no, that's a dirty game. So
I was gonna say, I know which one you're on about. No,
no,
bad, Jason, bad.
Number 72 is Gem Rush. That's from Victory Point Games. I have the Kickstarter coming, so I don't have the box to display. Very quick Victory Points game. You know, you're delving into a dungeon, matching symbols, and you get this really cool card layout and all that kind of stuff. Gem Rush is a really fun one. My number 73. Oh, hold on, there it is. Mole Rats in Space. I break my heart that I couldn't rate this higher. I really, really love this game, but it's for kids. It's one of the Matt Leacock jams. You could definitely tell his fingerprints are all over it, but it's for kids. So it has a little bit of a ceiling on how high it's going to go. The next one is Perdition's Mouth Abyssal Rift is my number 77. That's a big, giant dungeon crawler with like a Euro take, has kind of a rondel system. So if you like your rondels, I know my regular partner Anthony likes, Euro games with that kind of system. So more of a Euro gamers dungeon crawl, but not very available at all. So I couldn't rate it higher. Next one, for those of you who like cooperative card games, The Lost Expedition. This was a really big hit last year, 2017. Did you get to play this, Luke? Or
nah, I haven't got to play that one.
Okay, so this was my number 81, The Lost Expedition. Kind of a go to El Dorado, and it's like very limited resources. You're basically you're on the edge of death at every single card play, and you're kind of dodging all that kind of stuff. You're not going to feel very heroic in this game at all, but it's still fun. The next one is Flip Ships, which I do not own. And I actually, Flip Ships is one of those where, like Mountains of Madness, which did make the list, it's one of those things where I want to play it in a party. I'm not playing this at home, just like casually. But hey, if adult beverages are going on, and you're having like fun with your in-laws or whatever, hey, let's flick some chips into a whatever that thing is called, the little milk crate, whatever it is, and have a good time. Number 84, this one should have been higher. Had I gotten more into it, I would have gotten it way, way higher. This is Hero Realms. Hero Realms is the heroic version of Star Realms. The simplest deck builder out there, I gather. What Hero Realms does is it takes your personal decks and makes it personal to you. You can play like a cleric, a fighter, or whatever it is. So good. I played the campaign. It's going to go higher next time I make the list, which who knows, maybe in a couple of years. The next one, Aventuria, the adventure card game. This is one of those Warhammer Quest type things. It's one of those Pathfinder Adventure type things, but with a very German sensibility. So the Dark Eye is one of the great RPG systems for that are coming out of Germany. So they made an adventure card game out of it. I like it. Very, very soaked with narrative. Adventure card games have a lot of upkeep, and you have to constantly buy sets and sets and sets. So, for me, there's going to be a limit on how high those varies as well. Number, 88, Escape from 100 Million BC, which is, family-friendly adventure game, eldritch horror, but for, everybody in the family plays up to 6. You're rescuing Abraham Lincoln from dinosaurs, and it's all this like kind of crazy time travel stuff. Really, you're just kind of rolling dice. you're making all these faces. It's like, okay.
Well, a lot of these games I haven't played, but that one I'm just like, as soon as you mention you're saving Lincoln from dinosaurs, I'm like, okay, what?
It's like, mechanically, just like kind of run of the mill ish. That's an interesting thing, but for the most part, it's like every game you've ever played in that space. But you're rescuing Lincoln from dinosaurs, so it made the list. If you are a father of a very small child, I recommend this game, First Orchard. Luke, if you ever manage to be blessed with children in your home, this is their first game. I love it. But it's a kid's game, so it's only so high it's going to be on my list. Definitely recommend it if you're going to have small children, this one. My last game, this was number 98 on the list. I showed it while we were going on during the 100. This is Salvation Road. Post-apocalypse, kind of dead of winter, but a pure co-op version. Limited resources and, not knowing whether you're going to win or anything like that. A really cool game, but, you can't have every game on the list. So those are the games that missed my list. Luke magically had a whole bunch of games that I just either don't like or never played. So I'm not
say Salvation Road and Muse are the two off of that list that I've not played a lot of the ones on your list. I think most of them I haven't played. I do like Hero Realms. I probably wouldn't have gone as high on that, just looking on the phone. I haven't played Muse, but I want to try it. I probably would like that one, and I would like to try Salvation Road. Sounds up my alley. Was not a fan of And Then We Held Hands, though. It just, everyone made such a big deal about, oh yeah, it's two of you working in sync, and that. It's like you're pushing a gem over an abstract map. It's like, what's all this getting in sync rubbish? It's like, this will solve your relationships. It's like, what? There was a few more, so what have we got on here? And I got to check a phone because I can't have it on my screen unless you literally want to have everything in full shot on the video or something. But let's go from bottom up. So 99, Attack on Titan deck building game. Attack on Titan's a cool little anime series. This was basically the co-op deck building game where you had to, defend your city from the big titans that come by, but you've got the wall structure element, so you've got to protect the wall, and if that goes down, it makes life harder. Decent little deck builder, but suffers at higher player counts, and you've got to be an anime fan to like it. 97, Conquest of Planet Earth. The only way I want to play this game is the co-op mode. The competitive mode is a bit bleh with it, but the co-op mode, you're aliens, you're flying down, you're nuking farms, buildings, whatever. The military comes back at you with tanks and aircraft. A superhero shows up randomly to try and battle you. It's pretty much like you're playing the enemy of Mars Attacks, the board game, and it's just a good amount of fun. 94, Jupiter Rescue. And another thing with these, none of these I own anymore, so I can't show them off. But Jupiter Rescue 94, you're robots on this ship in space, and you're trying to rescue all the colonists that are on the thing, but they're all kind of thick. They kind of need directing to various pods, and your robots can do different things, but you've got these aliens that are turning up, trying to absorb them all and kill them off, and you've got to get so many of them to the escape pods, but as soon as you do, it breaks off and goes away, so you've got to get them to as many pods as possible, and yeah, it's a good bit of harmless fun, that one. 93, the Dungeons and Dragons system, so Legends of Drizzt, and I forget what
Temple
the other
of
ones are.
Shartland and Temple of Elemental Evil. Yep.
And those, yeah, they're decent enough. Original editions had some weird sort of flaky rules, but they got in better with times. But yeah, it's a good way to get a D&D co-op adventure game, basically. 89, the Lord of the Rings co-op game, the original Reiner Knizia one. Doesn't have any theme whatsoever, which is one reason it doesn't get any higher, but it's a good little co-op game. It is quite tough, and people do get into the theme of Lord of the Rings, even though it is pretty much just flip a tile and see where you move. It was made a lot better with expansions, though. And I think it was one of the first co-op that ever existed.
That's the first one. The granddaddy of them all, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got to give it credit. Dungeon Fighter 87 is a silly co-op. It's a party game. You're rolling dice like under your arm, or through little slots, through holes and stuff, and it's just basically like a big target on the board, and you've got to throw your dice onto the target to deal damage to the monsters in classic D&D dungeon crawl style. But it just gets silly when you've got to hold someone's hand to throw the die onto there, and it's a good laugh, but you've got to accept it's a silly party game.
It's really silly. It's dumb.
Exactly, yeah. 85, Project Elite, real-time, Alien Tower Defense game. Decent game. Components could be a little bit better, but it is frantic. It is tense. You're just scraping aliens off the board as you're killing them off. But I think the real-time aspect is probably what makes it not as big as one for me there. Shadowrun Crossfire 83, good theme. Good, deck building thing. What hurts this one though a lot is the experience system is just all over the shop. You have got to house rule getting XP a lot quicker than the game suggests, because otherwise you need to play something like 20 games to get to level 1, and it just kills it. Yeah, kills it stone dead. So if you're willing to house rule the XP, it's still a half decent, deck builder. 82, Castellion, another one from the Omniverse series, like Sylveon, Onirim, and all that lot. Castellion is more of a the puzzle style one where you got to build the building in front of you, but whatever you put in there, they have different abilities. The co-op version is similar to how the normal version works, a bit like how Onirim has you using shared tiles. It's a cool little way, but to be honest, I think I prefer to play it solo. What do we have? 81, Yggdrasil, Yggdrasil, however you want to, if you want to pronounce it how it's spelt. But this one had you taking, it was like a Norse mythological game. I can't remember if you were taking control of actual Norse gods or you were just part of that mythology.
You had Freya and
you had the Tree of Life. You were defending it from adversaries and that. But this was, you thought Ghost Stories was hard. This one, I swear, is unwinnable. It just got so hard that it was really bad until you got the expansion, which helped a bit. But even then, you kind of just about maybe could beat it solo. But with more players, it just got ridiculous. But it was a bit of fun. It gets a bit repetitive over time, though. Let's see. I'm going to skip do you mind if I skip a few? Because we got... Actually, no. Let's go through.
Just don't even describe them like they... Just go for them.
79, London Dread. We hope cool co-op with the app. Timed, you got to plot your movements in certain ways. Like 3 o'clock I need to be here, 5 o'clock I need to be there. Good solid little co-op, actually. I thought it was good.
It's another Space Alert. Space Alert's better. Just skip that one.
Fair enough. 78, Subterra. I was a bit hazy on this when I first tried it, but it's okay, this is alright. It's a bit of a laugh. You're trying to get out of a cave. You can't explore everything, but if you don't take the time to look ahead of time, you end up flipping these tiles, and it's something bad happens. But you got to cooperate to get out of there. It's neat. It's small. It does the job.
Massive Darkness.
76, Massive Darkness. Yeah, I'm starting to wane a bit on dungeon crawls now, but Massive Darkness, yeah, like I say, this would probably be a bit lower now. Bear in mind we did this list 3 months ago. It's taken a while before it gets on there. I still think this is good. 74, Defenders of the Realm. If you like Pandemic, it's basically Pandemic with fantasy miniatures. You've got all the monsters, 4 different types, zombies and orcs that coming in from different corners, each with their own boss. You have a unique character with special abilities. It functions like Pandemic, that they're all coming, and if they get too many, they spread. But it puts more of a theme on it. You're defending your castle from these adversaries that all feel very different. It's like having different diseases. So, yeah, big, a little bit over the top, but, yeah, it does the job. This one might like a bit more than some others do. The Shadows of a Camelot, the card game version. Similar to Shadows of a Camelot, you have a traitor, someone who's trying to get in your way, but it's like a memory game. You've got the different cards in your hand, and you've got to remember who's got what or what you've played, but one person is deliberately trying to mislead and betray you, and you can't necessarily tell whether someone just has a really bad memory or they're deliberately forgetting important information. It's better than I think it gets credit for, but yeah, it's not going to hold a candle to the actual board game, but I thought it was a decent little co-op card game. 70, Beyond Baker Street. I prefer Hanabi easily, and I do love how the designer flips his lid when you claim this is like Hanabi. It's I'm sorry, it is.
It's Hanabi, yeah.
Yeah, it's Hanabi with extra bits, and that's essentially it. If you like the Sherlock Holmes theme, but you want a meatier version of Hanabi, then this is a good solid one to grab. 67, Hot Shots. This is a kind of the new younger sister of a Flashpoint Fire Rescue, you're fighting wildfires instead. You got a tile map, you got your firefighters with different abilities, and you go around trying to put out the fires as well as blockade them, to try and stop them spreading. So it has that Flashpoint Fire Rescue feel. Obviously, Flashpoint Fire Rescue is a lot higher for me, I think, in terms of a game. But it's a very quick one. It's definitely more push-your-luck dice-driven than Flashpoint is, which I think puts a few people off, and it was quite a small publisher, limited distribution. But it's a neat little co-op if you can find it. This would actually be a bit lower now, come this list. But 65 was the new Doctor Who Time of the Daleks. I would put it lower now, mainly because it does get a little bit like luck-driven with all those dice. But this is basically Elder Sign for Doctor Who. And a main reason I can put it on the list is, like I say, if you've got any nostalgic connection to Doctor Who like I do, then it gets everything thematic right. The way certain companions interact, the way certain scenarios happen, everything is just crying out for Doctor Who fans. You must play this co-op, though, and you must play it with a limited number of players. If you play it with too many players, this goes on for way too long, and if you play the competitive version, you are wasting your time. It is bad. Big Muck of Madness finally, 64. I find it's a lot. It's quite heady. There's a fair bit to track. You're doing sort of mild deck building, but you're all a bunch of student mages. Big book has opened. It's got evil nasties coming out. You gotta close the book and deal with them. But you're deck building with different spells and elements. So fire, water, earth. They all do different things. You've got to track a fair bit. You've got to work together and get in sync. But if you like that whole sort of Harry Potter-esque feel, but you don't want the Harry Potter deck building game, you want something a bit maybe simpler to do with awesome artwork, it is yellow, then definitely one that I quite like. I just don't feel like owning that one.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite a lot there.
I know.
And breathe.
All right, so really quickly, the last little bit that we're going to do, we made this list in February, and it's now May. I have had a chance to get a bunch of co-ops to the table since then. Some Kickstarters have delivered, going into the back catalog, figuring out what, other things to play. These games would have made this list had I made it in February, so I want to feature them quickly right now. The first one, look at this bad boy, the City of Kings. So this one just shipped a little while ago. Adventure game kind of in the Skyrim or World of Warcraft. This is not like any other adventure game you've ever played. It has resource gathering and combat and puzzle nature of it. It's a pretty solid one. Number 2, we want more. You want more big boxes? I got more big boxes for you. Grimslingers. So Grimslingers, this has really funky art. People were drawn to it because of the art. It's taken them 3 editions and 1 expansion to get it right.
That's the thing. It has
in terms of the rule sets, in terms of the accessibility, it's had a really rough go of it, but I think they finally got it right with the last edition and with the expansion, Northern Territory. I really enjoy this one. I'll be reviewing it soon on my channel. Another one that just came out with a co-op mode in the app, Stop Thief. So Stop Thief is the restoration game, normally competitive game. You're kind of like, sniping each other and going for the thief. Co-op mode, it's a hidden movement game where the app is trying to look for there's a thief and the app drives a thief and you're working together. Yeah. You have to catch it before it steals too many valuables. The only problem with it, I really love it. The only problem with it is that the app right now is the AI is very simple. Like it just goes towards the first treasure. Yes. And like, okay, well, I wonder where you're going. You're going towards a treasure again. What a surprise! Mix it up for me, and it'll rise even higher.
Yeah, it needs some work.
My friend Ricky Royal, Renegade. So this is from Victory Point Games. This is Richard Wilkins, aka Ricky Royal from the Back to Life channel. His first game, massively puzzly co-op. You can tell he loves Mage Knight. You wanted that Mage Knight feel in a very, very smaller box with a cool theme. Take a look at that one. These games get better and better, people. These last couple of games, I'm over the moon for. The next game, well, we'll go back and forth on this one, Luke. The next game is The Mind, which I'm waiting for to be printed. People are going gaga over it, and then there's a backlash to that people are not going as gaga for it. It's another one of those kind of mental card games where you have to kind of guess what the other person has and everything. You either like that stuff or you don't. I happen to love it. What do you think, Luke? Okay, Luke is not a big fan. Would have made my list.
To be fair, I can't really comment. I've not played it, but somebody might show me at the expo. But the problem is everyone is going gaga for this game. And all I am seeing from reviews, Dice Tower Miami Dice, and all the other reviews, I look at this game and all I see is the game, that horrible card game from before with the numbers. I hate that game. And all I see is the game with one rule change. That's it. That's all I'm seeing. Like one or two rule changes, and then it's the mind. And everyone's going on about it being like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever" or something. It's like, so hang on a minute. A game where you basically just sit and wait until someone bottles it and puts a card down. Basically, a giant game of chicken. That's a chicken co-op game. Is supposedly this good. Someone has to show me this at UK Games Expo to get me to play it or something, because nobody I know's got it, and I certainly ain't going out of my way to buy it. But but you've got to do some convincing to make this one as good as everyone says it is. I feel like this is another Exploding Kittens fiasco.
Do not sully the good name of the mind with Exploding Kittens. I've played this game. It is awesome. I can't wait for the print to come in. Play this game with your girlfriend and see what she says.
No. I've got to play it first myself. You know, I only inflict games on my girlfriend that I know are good.
This is a big surprise from last year. That's called the Shipwreck Arcana. I doubt you've ever heard of this game.
Never.
Competitive or a cooperative Hanabi-ish, but a logic deduction puzzle game. You're guessing tiles and you're using cards to kind of narrow possibilities. It's deductive logic. I mean, logic. I love logic. Any cooperative player loves logic. This is a really solid one. These last two games, though, so all of those games were good. I like them, but these last two games, we're talking possible top 20, 30 territory over here. The first one just arrived at my doorstep last week, now boarding. So this is the latest game from Tim Fowers.
Oh, is that what that one is? Okay. I saw a picture of it. I saw a picture of it, and they said, "Oh, this is another Tim Fowers game." It's like, what? He's done another one? It's like...
This was a Kickstarter last year, I guess. It just delivered. I've been playing it. I'm playing it and playing it and playing it. There's real-time elements to it, but the real-time isn't as highlighted. It just kind of like adds a little bit of an element to it. There's planning. You got to take passengers across, the United States map and everything. And it's hard to explain, but it is amazing. I really, really love this game. Check it out right now. Better than Burgle Brothers.
If I see it in the UK, I'll give it a look. I do like Tim Fowers stuff.
Oh, it's cutely thematic. It's, the airplanes are really cute. You can improve your airplanes to like get more passengers and go faster along the routes. And you get to kind of trade off passengers. So like if you have to get someone from JFK to Seattle, which is 3,000 miles away, you can team up with your friends to kind of get them across the board in one go. And you have to do that you have to do it in a planning phase. You have to execute it in real time. So it has that planning phase and execution phase. So good.
It looks like it's got that theme of a like 1950s, 1960s like stewardess feel.
Yep,
like I'm getting a big sort of Catch Me If You Can vibe from the way that stewardess is dressed or something. Like that time period that film is set in or something. I'm getting that kind of vibe.
The pilots in the game for your little the little planes you get are all characters from Burgle Brothers. So to kind of keep the theme going. And then this game, we're talking top 15 material right here. Street Masters, Rise of the Kingdoms. This is Double Dragon, the board game. If you remember Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, arcade beat 'em ups, this has all of that with tactical movement, but it has, if you saw our top 100, you know what game is number one. This game has that modular system. It has boss decks, environment decks, hero decks. It is Sentinels of the Multiverse, the board game, not the Sentinel Tactics. That game was stinky.
Yeah.
This game does it right. It is so good. It gives you that Sentinels feel, but it has a tactical board attached to it. It has Double Dragon dripping with theme. I'm over the moon for this game. I cannot wait to get its expansions for the next Kickstarter.
I was going to say, because you're coming out with a lot of choices that haven't made this list and probably wouldn't have made our list even if you tried, purely because these are some obscure Kickstarters, because I don't pay attention to Kickstarter too much unless it's one of the big hyped ones, and I go, oh, maybe I'll do it. And I keep like expansions. I'm very reluctant to, do Kickstarter if I've not heard of the publisher, or if it's a game that I'm thinking, okay, was anyone crying out for this? I don't know. So if I'd seen something like a Double Dragon miniatures game or something, I'd have been like, okay, I'll pass. But I might have gone for something like the Tim Fowers one if I knew it was around. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, I would look at it. I remember the Double Dragon theme, and you've told me it's like Sentinels in the Multiverse with a board. That is
Oh
enough
my
to
god, it is
that
so good. I want to play it right now.
yeah, that is enough to get me interested in it. God
Yes,
knows if we'll
absolutely.
see a retail release here, but I'll keep an eye out for it if it does pop up on new releases.
So that is many, many more games to sink your teeth into. We did sprinkle in some one verse mini games and some trader mechanic games into our top 100. If you are like, okay, give me 100 pure co-ops, take any 9 games from the what is it, 50 that we showed you right now,
Yeah.
stick those in there, and you are good to go. So that will do it. That is the last video we are producing. We are ready to go to bed.
Well,
in all seriousness, man, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Luke, for joining me on this adventure. They say we couldn't do it. They said we couldn't make it to top 100, but hey, we made it to like a top 120, 130 over here. No problem.